Welcome back everyone to Mona's Take. I am your host Mona Rose and we're here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Today's episode, Big Brother live feeds. There was some stuff going on. It's kind of slow at the moment. Leftovers think they know what they're doing. The plan's in motion, so we'll get right into it. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. So I can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Hi, Michael and Terrence talk. He's talking to everybody, and he's asking them the same questions. Number one, the first question, is there anybody you wanted to see go? Is there anyone that you know of that's a house consensus that everyone would like to see go out the door? Terrence says, not really. He's like, I have a good relationship with everyone. He says that he's sure everyone's going to say Daniel because of the big blow up between him and Monty. And the blow up with the house, telling everyone that they were playing somebody else's game. They can't split the check. Play for yourself. Don't be a sheep. All this stuff. So Terrence said, I'm sure Daniel's probably going to be the one that comes out of everybody's mouth. He said, but I understand Daniel's feelings. His best friend in the house just went home. He was emotional. Could he have handled it differently? Yes. But I understand why he acted the way that he acted. Terrence said that he respects Michael. And he knows that Michael's going to do whatever's necessary for his game. Whatever that move may be, he respects it. Terrence makes the connection of the backdoor plan. And he agrees that his team would be the best option, because that would give Michael 3 strong males that would be competing against Daniel if he gets picked to play veto, to have the backdoor plan go in motion. So he says he understands that. The next conversation is between Daniel and Michael. Daniel tells him that he wants to stay and he'll do anything just to stay another week. He's like, I'm on an island. I'm by myself. I would be a vote for you. If I make it to jury and I'm in the jury and you're in the finale, I'm going to vote for you. And Michael says, well, I really wish you would not keep saying that around everyone. And Daniel's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about what that would do to your game. He's like, but I'm being honest. He said, but I won't say it anymore. He said, I would be the one to do your dirty work. I could get out the people that you really can't go after to protect your game if you keep me in the house. So basically, Daniel's just doing his Hail Mary. Like throwing everything he can at Michael and see what sticks. Michael says that he sees the value of keeping someone who has nobody in the game. He said, but in the same instance, I have to weigh my options of, will that hurt my game in the long run with the house to keep you in, or would it be better for my game to keep you in? He's like, I kind of have to weigh the options and see which route we go. Michael asked Daniel what he would do if he wins HOH, and Daniel said, literally, I'm up for everything. He said anything and everything. He said, I'll get out whoever you want me to get out. He said, I won't put you and Brittany on the block. Y'all will be safe, but I'll do your dirty work. The next conversation is between Michael and Alyssa. Alyssa says that she doesn't really want Daniel out, but that the house does want Daniel out, that he's so emotional and they never know when he's going to flip a switch and go off. So the house consensus, in her opinion, is Daniel. When these talks started coming out, we knew Daniel's name was going to be at the top of the list because of everything that just happened. Nicole's gone. He's the next one booted. Alyssa says she doesn't know what she would do in Michael's situation. She said, I don't know if I would, put him on the block right away and give him a chance to win the veto, or if just go straight for the back door. And that seems to be the theme this year, is straight for the back door. I have seen a lot of seasons where there's a few back doors, but for the most part, everybody puts up who they want out, and gives them a chance to fight for their life in the game. This bunch is not doing this. They're all about that back door. And next conversation he has is with Indy. She says that she knows Daniel's the house target, but her question is what happens next week? We get Daniel out. He's gone. Who's next? And Michael said, I've been thinking a lot about that as well. He's like, I'm really afraid that Brittany and I will end up on the block, and that they'll backdoor me and I won't have a chance to play for the veto. The next conversation is between Kyle and Indy. Kyle was getting ready to go into the HOH room to have his one-on-one. Indy was coming out. He pulled her in the half-out room. And he said, I just want to apologize for last night. I know it was very disrespectful, and I'm sorry, and it won't happen again. And Indy said, look, you guys are adults. I'm not your mama. But you have this HOH room. If you want to spend some time alone with Alyssa, then you do it here, not in front of other people. So evidently Kyle went to lay down with Alyssa last night. They started getting touchy-feely. Woke Indy up, and Indy told him to stop it and get out. All right, Kyle and Michael talk. Now, Kyle is really concerned about the fact that Monty told everyone that Jasmine came to him and pitched an alliance between Jasmine, Indy, Terrence, Joseph, and Monty. And so that's got some fear into everybody. If they decide to jump ship, they got the numbers. Especially if two of us are up on the block. He's like, so I really don't know if I end up on the block that I'm going to be safe. He said, I'm scared about that. He said, you see the previous weeks, they get out the target, the one who's won comps, the bigger person. So he says, if I sit next to Daniel, I'm not sure that I won't go home. And it makes me really nervous. Michael said he thought about everything that Kyle had said, and that he agreed that if they get rid of Daniel and Alyssa, which is the leftovers next targets, is Daniel and then Alyssa. And Michael's saying, if we get rid of Daniel and Alyssa, then we have no one that's going to be here for us. They're going to still have all of their people that's going to be there for them in the game. He said, so I have thought about that. Michael tells Kyle, if you're picked for the veto, I would appreciate it if you go hard, and if you win it, you leave noms the same. He said, and then, we vote out Terrence. So at this point, nobody's really looking at Monty and Joseph, except for the girls. They've had several discussions about it. And they've said that if it came down to Terrence, Monty, and Joseph still being on the block, that they would vote Monty out because they were not going to vote against Terrence and they were not going to vote against Joseph. Joseph's good in that house. He's good with both sides of the house. Monty, not so much. They kind of got his number. But Joseph, he's good with both sides. He's probably the best positioned player right now in the entire house because nobody but Daniel has even thought about putting him up. Kyle says he doesn't understand why the group is so adamant about going after Alyssa. She's not a comp threat. She's a number for them. There's nothing about her that screams threat, get her out of the house. So he's confused as to why they're so adamant that Alyssa's the next one to go instead of, per se, Indy. They've talked about Indy being in the jury. They don't like it because they know that she's already going to have her vote, and she's going to vote emotionally instead of game-wise. They think that Alyssa will look at the whole picture and vote game-wise and not with her heart. So they don't understand that move. Michael talks with Jasmine, and Jasmine said that if the target gets picked for the veto and the Pawns stay on the block, one of them were going to have to go home. Now, she was talking to the girls downstairs. Like I said, she said she would vote Monty out. They didn't really have a whole lot of conversation between them two. It's like, whatever you want to do, Michael. The next conversation is Joseph and Michael. And Joseph tells Michael, whatever you do, whatever you need, I'll do. If I need to go on the block, I will. I understand that we have a target, and, Monty and I haven't touched the block. So, much respect for whatever you do. I'm here for you. And then Joseph starts planting the seed that Alyssa, Indy, and Jasmine are all working with each other. And he doesn't know how he feels about that. He says that his threat level with the other players on the other side would be Alyssa, Indy, then Jasmine. They think that Alyssa is going to be a bigger target than Indy, or a bigger threat than Indy or Jasmine. Jasmine, I can see she's hurt, she's not competing well, whatever. But I don't understand how they see Alyssa as more of a threat than Indy. Joseph's taking up for Indy, and he's like, the whole Nicole vote, everything. Indy didn't want to vote her out, but she was just being loyal. That's who her loyalties were with. So that's an honorable game, da-da-da. He's amping Indy up, like Indy's the one that we need to keep. And that's because he's closer to Indy. So there are no have-nots for the week. They did not say that it had ended. According to everybody in the house, what they said was, there will be no have-nots this week. So what I'm thinking is the bestie twist is going to be over with come Thursday night. It's going to be an individual game. At that point, they'll probably go back to what they were doing in seasons previous, where the first 4 to get out, or the first 4 to fall, or whatever, that those are the have-nots for the week. So it's not anybody picking have-nots. It's depending on how well they do in the comps. That's what I think is going to happen now. I may be totally wrong, but that's where I think this is going. So Michael did make his nominations, and it was Monty, Joseph, and Terrence, just like we expected, with the backdoor plan being Daniel. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like Daniel. I think he's a horrible person. But I think keeping him in the game will give Michael and Brittany a shield, because people are still going to be wanting to go after him. Because I have a feeling that this time next week, if Michael or Brittany or Kyle or Turner does not win HOH, I have a feeling that Michael and Brittany are going to be in jeopardy. We'll see. So Jasmine's going off on Turner again. They just like talking about people and being mean. I have come to that conclusion. That's just who she is. She's talking to Indy about Turner again, and she's going off, and she's saying that she can't believe he touched her food. She says, I don't want his nasty ass hands that haven't showered in weeks, which is not true. Does not take a shower every day, but he showered right after have-nots. On my stuff, she said, if he wants to be nasty outside this house, that's fine. But in here, you have to respect people and their space. And he said he never washes dishes. Jasmine said he's so inconsiderate. And they're just going back and forth, and they're just bashing Turner. CBS Big Brother, if you think that we haven't seen all we ever need to see about the treatment of Taylor to make our opinions, you're mistaken. It doesn't matter. Show what's happening. Show the real person. I've seen you do it in the past. You did it with Mitchie. You did it with Jack. Why not do it with them? Why not show how mean-spirited they are? Because Jasmine is your girl? That's why. But they're doing it with everyone. They're cutting the feeds as soon as Taylor's name is mentioned. And it's irritating. Jasmine was saying, oh, Taylor knows what she's doing. She was talking to India and Alyssa. Oh, she knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's walking around here and she's just so comfortable. And did you see what she was wearing today? Strutting around here in a mini dress. And the feed's cut off. It's like, you people cannot keep her name out of your mouth. Period. Not happening. The rest of the season, as long as she's there, they're going to be talking about Taylor. And I'm sure once they get in the jury house, they're going to be talking about Taylor as well. Oh my God. The interviews for Nicole. I watched all the interviews with Amira, and I have to say that the people who were doing the interviews for the most part were nice about it. They didn't go in on her. Just about every interview that I've seen from Nicole, the person doing the interview is going in hard on her. And there's a couple of them. If you're on Twitter, the best one I've seen so far was the Secret Alliance podcast. And Chada is one of the ones interviewing her. And Chada went hard. She went in hard on Nicole. Go watch that one. The second one is Kat Dunn, Conspire Away Bitches podcast. She was hilarious. She first started out, the very first question out of the gate was, did you actually wipe Jasmine's ass? And Nicole says, are you talking about, when she had clothes on? And Kat's like, there were more than one instance? Didn't you have a bidet? Or something like that. And then Nicole says, no, that really didn't happen. I wiped her butt off because she had something on her clothing that she was wearing. So whatever. So then Kat says, well, I know we don't have a lot of time. So we're going to talk about your favorite subject. And Nicole got all happy. Oh, good. Really? The whole time she was talking about Taylor. So Kat was telling her, your favorite subject is Taylor. You got to go listen to it. It is freaking awesome. All right, back to the combos. Terrence tells Daniel, best case scenario, you get picked for the veto, win it, and keep the noms the same. We got him on the block. Why not take the shot when we got it? I don't know if they were talking about Monty or Joseph at that point. And then he says, I could really mess him up. I'd throw the comp. It wouldn't be hard. He said, it's not like I'm a comp beast. It's not like I've won anything. I could really mess him up. And Daniel said, yeah, you should. And Terrence said, yeah, I think I'm going to. So we'll see if that happens. They are saying right now that their best shot is to get Monty out. I had to listen for a little bit to find out where they were going because he kept saying he. I wasn't sure if they were talking about Monty or Joseph. They were talking about Monty. So Terrence and Daniel are like, we've got him on the block. Why not take the shot when we have a chance? And the feeds really sucked last night. I'm not going to lie. I think I went to bed at 11 o'clock because it's like I can't watch this anymore. They had 2 feeds up. They have the 4 cameras, so they had 2 different views. The first one is either listening to Kyle and Alyssa with their goofy ass puppy love showmance, whatever the hell it is. And the second one was Monty and Turner talking about smoking weed and going out and partying and THC. And I'm like, all right, I'm done for the night. I haven't had any sleep all week anyway. So I was like, I'm going to cut this crap off. I'm going to go to bed. I'll get up in the morning and fast forward through stuff because it was really hit or miss. They really weren't doing a whole lot last night. Monty and Kyle talk. And Monty says that Michael needs to be the first of the 7 to go. I don't know if that's such a smart move to say that right now when you're on the block, but I'm not surprised. I always figured that the pecking order in that alliance, that Brittany, Michael, and Taylor were on the bottom. They were the last ones to be brought in, even though they helped save all the other guys because of this alliance. So I'm hoping that Michael takes his shot before Monty and Joseph have a chance to take theirs, because then it's going to be a boring season. They saved the season by this whole leftovers alliance and the flip of the house and all that they weren't getting steamrolled. They're going to be the ones steamrolling everybody else. I don't know. I just don't think the 7's going to last past this week. I would be very shocked if Brittany and Michael are not on the block next week. So somehow Terrence found out that Turner was the one that was messing with her. Ate half a muffin and cut another piece off and took it to the DR and ate it. And then put a cookie in there and then put a lime in there in this bag. And then at one point smashed the cookie and poured water into it. So somehow Terrence found out that it was Turner that was doing all this. And that Turner moved his hats, like he keeps his hats on his headboard of the bed. And according to Turner, he was cleaning, which is ironic in itself, but that he was cleaning and somehow knocked the hats off, and he saw this bag, but it was a plastic bag. And so he thought it was just trash, so he didn't worry about doing anything with it. Well, that's what Terrence uses to cover up his hats so they don't get lint on them. So somehow Terrence found out that all this is Turner, and he's pissed. And he tells Jasmine. So then Jasmine's pissed. They're both pissed together. She corners Alyssa because she finds out that Alyssa knew about it. She corners Alyssa and says that she doesn't like Turner, that he's inconsiderate, nasty, doesn't bathe, wouldn't cook slop for her. Jasmine tells Terrence that she's so over him that he doesn't wash the dishes, take baths for a week, wash his clothes. He didn't make her slop one time. So in other words, he won't wait on you, so you don't like him. So Jasmine confronts Turner, and Turner's laughing. And Jasmine's kind of laughing, but I think she was serious. And he's like, I did not eat your muffin. And she's like, I know it was you. Somebody told me it was you. And he's like, no, not me. I may know who did, but it wasn't me. And she's like, why are you laughing? And he's like, because I think it's funny that you think I'm the one that did this. And he said, I think you did it yourself. I think you ate your own muffin and you're just trying to blame other people. And he's walking towards the stairs and she keeps on and he's like, we'll finish this conversation later. And he goes up to the HOH room. Daniel and Terrence are just in a piss poor mood last night. Monty, Indy, and Joseph were working out and they were hooping and hollering and think, some of that motivational stuff, when you're training someone, you can do it. It's just being silly. But they were very, very loud. And it was getting under Daniel and Terrence's skin. It's like, there's no sense in it. It's crazy. They're just doing it to be obnoxious. And Terrence is like, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go to bed at 10 o'clock because I can't put up with this crap. And Daniel's like, I'm right with you. Jasmine's upset because she finds out that Alyssa knew that Turner was the one pulling the pranks and didn't tell her. And Alyssa's like, well, you were having fun with it. It was a joke. I didn't think that I needed to tell you. She's telling her, well, I feel like you're more loyal to Turner than you are me because you didn't tell me. Because, I don't I don't mess with him like that. He's not a friend. He's the last person in the world that I want messing with my stuff. And just going on the Turner tangent again. The next conversation they have, the girls are hoping that Daniel wins the power of veto so that they're safe and that he wins HOH next week, because then they know he'll be safe and he'll go after Monty. And then Jasmine confronts Alyssa again. And Alyssa's trying to apologize to her. And Jasmine says, "You were playing with them instead of being here for me." Jasmine tells Alyssa that Terrence was pissed because they were messing with Jasmine, and it was disrespectful, that he felt like if somebody was messing with his wife like that, that it'd be on. And he just found it very juvenile and childish and disrespectful. And she said he's also pissed off because Turner moved his hats. She's like, he had to go to bed because he's just so pissed that he's going to say something to him. Now, Alyssa feels like she's caught in the middle because she loves Jasmine, but she also loves Turner. She's friends with both. Turner has never once asked her to pick between him and Jasmine. Jasmine, on the other hand, several times has said, "You're with him and you're not with me. You can't be both," and da-da-da. Blah, 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 blah. All right, the players have been picked for the veto. The veto participants will be Michael, Brittany, Monty, Joseph, Terrence, and Turner and Jasmine. Yeah, there goes leaving them on the block. That's not happening now. Because if Michael and Brittany win the POV, they have to use it. Because that was the whole plan. So they can't very well leave them on the block without blowing up their whole game. I can almost promise you that Jasmine and Turner are not going to win it. Now, if they do, it's the same thing. Turner can't very well leave him on the block because he's part of the alliance. And that would look shady and blow up his game. So, I don't know. I think either way, whoever wins the veto, that they're going to be pulled off the block. Daniel and Kyle are going to go up. Now, that scares me. I think that they're going to use this opportunity to go after Kyle. And I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter about Kyle. Because he supposedly is going after all the people of color now. Kyle is the KKK and he's going after all the black people. Why would you even think that they are working together just because they're black? Well, no. It's because we just come off of a season, if anybody remembers BB23, where they did just that. So common sense would tell you to think of that. I don't know, in my opinion, and I'm sure I'm probably going to get hell for this. I don't see Kyle as being a racist. I see him as playing a game. He's thinking strategically. He's thinking about past seasons. He's a super fan. He has seen all the sun before. They've had 3 blind signs in 3 weeks. So why wouldn't he think that he's going to be the 4th? Come on, people. Really? It's crazy. The Power of Veto competition will be this afternoon. And we'll see who comes out on top. Don't think it's going to make a difference this week. I think it's signed, sealed, and delivered that Monty, Joseph, and Terrence come off the block, and Daniel and Kyle go on the block. So we'll see what shifts in the house from there. I don't know. So that's all I have for you guys today. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Make sure you leave a comment below. And as always, much love.